In 1889, Russian author Anton Chekhov penned a short story that reads like a dark fable. It's a tale designed to test the exact value we place on human life and what it actually means to be free. The story opens on a dark autumn night. A wealthy and capricious banker is pacing his study, recalling a lavish party he hosted 15 years ago. At that feast, a fierce debate broke out among the guests regarding capital punishment. The host argued that a quick execution was more humane than life in prison, but a 25-year-old lawyer disagreed, insisting that any life, no matter how restricted, is better than no life at all. The banker, stung by the lawyer's confidence, loses his temper and issues a challenge. If we look at the text, he stakes 2 million rubles that the young man couldn't last 5 years in solitary confinement. The lawyer, in a show of bravado, raises the stakes. He will stay for 15. This contract, signed in a moment of pure arrogance, guarantees that one of these men is about to sacrifice the best years of his life for a point of pride. The lawyer is confined to a garden wing on the banker's estate. A heavy door seals him away from the world under the strictest observation. The rules are absolute. The captive is forbidden from crossing the threshold, seeing other people, or even hearing a human voice. For 15 years, the outside world is to be completely silent. He has only one point of contact, a little window specially constructed for the purpose. Through this gap, he can send notes to request books, music, wine, and tobacco, but he can never speak to those who deliver them. The conditions leave no room for error. If he attempts to escape or break the rules even 2 minutes before the 15 years are up, the banker is instantly freed from the obligation to pay him the 2 millions. The captive has essentially agreed to be buried alive. The silence of the garden wing marks the beginning of a brutal, years-long psychological test. The first year of imprisonment is defined by loneliness and boredom. From the garden wing, the banker hears the constant sound of the piano as the lawyer struggles to fill the silence. But the weeping eventually stops. The captive realizes that while his body is trapped, his mind can roam through the pages of the books he requests. Through literature, he experiences a world he can no longer see. He reads of hunting deer in forests and climbing the snowy summits of Elbrus and Mont Blanc to watch the sunrise over the clouds. He moves from novels to history, philosophy, and the mastery of 6 languages. In this letter, he asks the banker to fire 2 shots in the garden if experts find his translations perfect, a celebration of a mental world that has expanded far beyond the cell walls. By the final years, the captive has devoured hundreds of volumes, traveling through every corner of human thought. Physically, he is a prisoner. Intellectually, he has become an omnipotent traveler of the universe. While the captive was expanding his horizons, the world outside the cell was closing in on the man who put him there. 15 years ago, the banker's millions were too many to count. But through risky speculations and reckless gambling on the stock exchange, he has slowly bled his fortune dry. The fearless businessman has weared into a trembling, nervous banker who fears every market shift. His wealth, once his source of power, has become his greatest burden. Now, the 15-year mark is only hours away. If the banker pays the 2 million rubles, he will be plunged into bankruptcy and total disgrace. He realizes that the only way to save himself is for the prisoner to die. The banker is now a hostage to his own ledger. While he walks the garden freely, he is utterly paralyzed by the terror of his impending financial collapse. At 3 in the morning, a damp, penetrating wind howls through the garden. Now everyone in the house is asleep. The old banker creeps out into the rain. He is headed for the garden wing with a desperate intention: to smother the captive with a pillow and save his last remaining coins from the debt he owes. He enters the hall, strikes a match, and tears the seals from the prisoner's door. The rusty lock gives a hoarse groan, but the man inside doesn't move. Inside, he finds a skeletal figure with tight-drawn skin and silver hair. The 40-year-old prisoner looks like a man of 80. On the table before his bowed head lies a sheet of paper covered in tiny handwriting. The banker looks down at this half-dead thing, a tragic physical manifestation of the wager they struck 15 years ago. Before he can act, the banker takes the sheet from the table and begins to read. The letter is a scathing rejection of everything the banker values. The prisoner writes, "I despise your books, despise all worldly blessings and wisdom. Everything is void, frail, visionary, and delusive as a mirage." To prove his utter contempt, the lawyer announces that he will leave his room 5 minutes before the deadline. By doing so, he will intentionally violate the agreement and forfeit the 2 million rubles he once dreamed of as paradise. Shattered by what he has read, the banker kisses the captive's head and flees the room to weep. The next morning, the watchman reports that the prisoner climbed through the window and disappeared into the garden, leaving the money behind. The cell stands empty, but the banker is left with only his self-loathing. The captive has demonstrated that even the heights of human wisdom are a hollow illusion when measured against a world he has learned to utterly despise.